Hey guys, so today I'm going to be filming a super exciting video. I've actually been waiting to film this video like this whole year. I don't know why, I just love making yearly TBRs. So I'm going to be talking about the top 19 books that I hope to read in 2019. So I'm going to try my best to read all of these books in 2019, and if I don't, then so this isn't including new releases. I already uploaded my most anticipated releases of 2019, so I'll link that video up here if you want to watch that. I'm hoping to read all those in 2019, but these are all books that I already own and I've been wanting to read them for quite a while. Well, some of them not as long, but some of them I've been wanting to read for so long. So yeah, I hope to read these books in 2019. Let's get into it. There are a lot of books to talk about. I'm so excited about all of them. Okay, so this is my number one book that I hope to get to in 2019. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, this is a super popular book. This is a lot of people's favourite book of all time. It's an adult fantasy and it follows the most notorious wizard the world has ever seen, Kvothe, and it just sounds like it's going to be an epic fantasy. And I think I've heard people say that people who love Harry Potter will love this. I think I've seen some comparisons to Harry Potter, or just Harry Potter fans would love this. So yeah, I just feel like I just have this really strong feeling that I am going to love this. And yeah, like I said, I've been wanting to read this for so long. 2019 is when it's going to happen. I feel like there are so many obstacles in me reading this book because I want to read it at the ideal time. So I want to read it when it's cold, so I have to wait for the colder months. And I did wait for the colder months in 2018 to read this, but then I wasn't in the mood to read this thick fantasy, and it's actually annoying because I'm in the mood to read it now, but it's summer and that's just not the vibe I want to read this book in. I don't want to be sweating reading this. I want to be all cozy and dedicate my time to this. So yes, hopefully 2019 will be the year that I read this. Actually, definitely. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm definitely going to be reading this in 2019. Yes. The next two books that I want to read in 2019 are part of the same series, and those books are Lord of Shadows and Queen of Her Own Darkness. I was like, what's this one called? Lord of Shadows and Queen of Her Own Darkness by Cassandra Clare. These are the last two books in the Dark Artifices trilogy. I have read Lady Midnight, which is the first book. Really enjoyed it, so I want to read these two books to obviously finish the trilogy. And Cassandra Clare has a lot of books coming out in 2019, and I'm pretty sure you are required to read these books first. So yeah, I need to read these two books so I can read those, but also because I want to read them. So yeah, I've heard really great things about Lord of Shadows. I've heard that Lord of Shadows is even better than Lady Midnight, which I'm super looking forward to. So yes, hope to read these soon. Yes. Okay, so the next book that I want to read in 2019 is Tiger Lily by Jodie Lynn Anderson, and this is a Peter Pan retelling, and I believe it's actually about a love story between Tiger Lily and Peter Pan, and I love Peter Pan so much, so I really want to read this. I've heard so many amazing things, and I feel like it's sort of a hidden gem book because I don't hear too many people talking about this book, but people who do talk about it say they absolutely adore it, and some people even say it's their favourite book. So yeah, I just feel like it will be one of those really nice hidden gem books. So I've been wanting to read this for so long, and it's not even that long, so I'm actually hoping to read this soon. This is on my January TBR. So yeah, hopefully going to be reading this in 2019, and I just have really high hopes for it, and I just have a feeling that I'm going to love it. So yeah, this is the next book on my yearly TBR. So the next book that I want to read in 2019 is a classic, which I definitely don't read often, if at all. I usually just read children's classics. So that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and I've heard so many good things about this book because, like I said, I'm not usually into classics, but I've heard that people who aren't into classics either really enjoy this book. So I have high hopes that this could be one that I would enjoy too. And I do want to read this because I think it's like a gothic story, so that's really cool. And I did want to read My Plain Jane, which is a retelling of Jane Eyre, but everyone said that I should read Jane Eyre first, so I'm listening to your advice and I'm going to hopefully read Jane Eyre in 2019. This will be a massive accomplishment for me if I read this because, like I said, I don't read classics too often and I'm kind of scared of them, but I just want to challenge myself this year and hopefully read this. So yeah. Speaking of classics, there is one more classic that I hope to read in 2019, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I actually don't really know much about this book, even though of course it's super popular. Most people have seen at least a movie adaptation or read the book. I haven't seen any adaptation. I don't know much about the story. I haven't read the book, so I want to read the book because this is another classic that people who don't usually like classics tend to like. And someone did tell me that it has rom-com vibes, but another person told me it didn't, so I don't know. It could be a fun time. It sounds like it's a fun time, so I'm excited. So the next three books I'm going to be talking about together because they are all a part of the same trilogy, and that is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. So first we have Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Dreams of Gods and Monsters, and Days of Blood and Starlight. So yes, this is the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor, my queen. So Laini Taylor wrote The Strange, the Dreamer duology, my second favourite series of all time, so of course I need to read her other series, and I'm actually going to be a part of a read-along for this series with some of my booktube friends, so I'll definitely let you guys know more details about that soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But I'm very excited because I think I'm going to love this trilogy. I love Laini Taylor's writing so much. I don't know much about this series, but I know that it involves Chimera. I think we follow a main character who has blue hair and tattoos, so I don't know, it just sounds amazing. That's all I need to know. And I think there's like a forbidden romance or something, I don't know. All the things that I've heard about this series just sound incredible, and I hope that it will be a new favourite series. I don't want to set my expectations too high, but I have high hopes. Also, another reason why I absolutely need to read this series is because there are actually Easter eggs in Muse of Nightmares, the second book in the Stranger Dreamer duology, to these books, so I need to read this and then reread Stranger Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares and see what those Easter eggs are all about. So yeah, I need to read these. I'm definitely going to be reading these because I'm going to be a part of the read-along. So this is 100% happening and I'm so excited. The next book that I want to read is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa, and this is the first book in a new Japanese-inspired fantasy series. So I really want to read this because that sounds amazing, and I've heard people say that it's basically like an anime in book form, so that's incredible. And it involves a fox shapeshifter, which that just sounds... I love foxes, so it sounds amazing. And it has kitsune and stuff. So yeah, like I said, it sounds incredible. Really want to read this. Definitely want to read more Asian fantasy in 2019, so this is at the very top of the list. So the next book that I want to read is actually a sci-fi, which is so unlike me. I don't read sci-fi that often, but that is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and I've heard so many great things about this, and I actually have never read a Brandon Sanderson novel, so I feel like this will be a good place to start because this is a young adult sci-fi, so it's more approachable than like his adult fantasy, well, in my eyes. So yeah, I've heard so many great things about this book. I don't think I've heard any bad things about it, to be honest, and I do want to get more into sci-fi. I'm becoming way more open to it lately because I have read some good sci-fi. And yeah, we basically follow Spencer, who dreams of being a pilot, and I think she goes to a pilot school. That's all I really know. It just sounds cool. Yes. So I'm excited to read my first Brandon Sanderson novel, and I hope I enjoy this and read more sci-fi in 2019. The next book that I want to read is Circe by Madeline Miller. This was gifted to me by my lovely friend Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reads. This is like her favourite book ever, so I really want to read it this year. So basically this is an adult fantasy, and apparently it has a really unique storytelling format, and it has Greek mythology, so I have really high hopes for this. So many people love it a lot, so yeah, I really hope I'm also one of those people. I'm just excited to read it. Yay! The next book that I want to read is Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies by heaps of different amazing women. There are all these women who have contributed to this. So this is a collection of essays, so this is non-fiction. And I do want to read more non-fiction in 2019, especially feminist non-fiction, so this is definitely my #1 priority. So yeah, I really hope I enjoy this. So the next book that I want to read is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. And this is a magical realism novel, and magical realism I adore. And I actually don't read enough magical realism, but so many people who I have really similar reading tastes to absolutely adore this book, so I have a feeling that I'm going to adore it. And it basically just follows the life of Ava Lavender, and I think she was born with wings and no one knows why. It's just supposed to be a really beautiful lyrical story, and yes, whimsical writing, it says on the back, so oh my gosh, this just is, it's calling my name, and I just really think I'm going to adore it. Yes, so I'm very excited about this one, as I'm excited about all of these books. So the next book is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and this is a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy, so it sounds so amazing. My friend Spence over at Common Spence absolutely loves this book, and he actually gifted this to me, so I really want to read this in 2019. I definitely have never read a Middle Eastern inspired fantasy, so I'm really excited to rectify that problem and read this and hopefully love it. The next book that I want to read in 2019 is actually really kind of just stupid. Like, why haven't I read this book? It's kind of... It's just stupid. So that is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. And the reason why this is stupid is because I've read The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, and it's actually one of my favourite books ever, and it probably is my favourite Victoria Schwab book. So it's so stupid how I haven't read the second book in the duology, the concluding book in the duology. I've also just been scared to read this because my heart, I don't know if I can handle it. I've heard it's really heartbreaking, and also I just don't want this duology to end because I love these characters so much. But it definitely needs to happen in 2019. So, oh my gosh, I just read the back. I literally felt like crying just then. I'm not even going to say it in case it's a spoiler. But yeah, so this needs to happen. I'm scared. But it's happening in 2019. Okay, so we're up to the final 3 books. So I also want to read Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. So this is the sequel to Vicious by V.E. Schwab, another one of my favourite books ever. And I haven't read this. I don't know why. I was so excited for it. This is one of my most anticipated releases of 2018 and I just didn't get to it. So I definitely need to read this in 2019. I believe this is set 5 years after the events of Vicious. I've actually heard mixed reviews on this book, but I hope I'm going to like it. I'm a bit scared now because of those mixed reviews, but I think, yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to like it. I've heard that there are some amazing, powerful female characters, but I'm going to try and go in with lower expectations because I don't think I'm going to like it as much as Vicious, just based on what everyone has said, but maybe I like it more than Vicious. I don't know, we'll see. So the next book is 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake, and this is a YA fantasy, and this is written by Kendare Blake, who also wrote Anna Dressed in Blood, and I love that book, so I need to read more of her work. Also, I've heard so many great things about this series. I've heard that this first book is kind of slower paced, but I am someone who doesn't mind slower paced books. Sometimes I hate it, but I feel like I can tolerate it if I'm super interested in the world or the characters, or I just have a feeling that the build-up is worth it. So basically, this sounds so incredible. We basically follow triplets. They are all equal heirs to the crown, so I believe they try to kill each other to become the queen, and they all have different magical abilities, and I think it's just really cutthroat and dark, and it sounds amazing. So yeah, really want to read this very soon. I keep saying that about all of these books. I just want to read all of these right now. But anyway, this has to happen in 2019. Okay, so we've come to the final book that I want to read in 2019. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. That's right, I haven't read this book. A lot of people say, what the heck? Like, why haven't you read this book? And a lot of people tell me that I'm going to love this book. I just don't know why I haven't read it yet. But I'm very excited. It basically follows a heist, and we follow a group of 6 characters. I already know their names because so many people talk about them. Kaz, Inej, Jesper, Nina. Okay, I can't remember the others right now. But yeah, I feel like I already know so much about this book and I feel like it's going to be one that I love. I've already read the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo in preparation to read Six of Crows, and I didn't love that series, but I have high hopes for this because a lot of people say that this is 10 million times better. I already have my knowledge on the world, so I'm just ready to hop into this and hopefully love it. So this needs to happen in 2019. Like, it's a joke that I haven't read this yet. So yeah. Okay, so we've come to the end. Those are my top 19 books that I hope to read in 2019. I really hope I can get to them all. I hope to at least get to 75% of them, just to be a little bit more realistic. But I really want to try and read all of these books in 2019. So let's hope it happens. So if you've read any of these books, I would love to know which of these I absolutely need to get to the quickest. And I would also love to know what books you really hope to read in 2019. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are having a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next one.